Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. I'm going to go through a few articles tonight showing where we are now in the timeline of history and how things have come and to where they are heading. So, Cambodia heads digital in bid to shake the US dollar reliance. And with central banks across Asia racing to develop their own central bank digital currency, the CBDC, it is often China that gets all the glory with its advanced pilot schemes and widespread trials. Casual observers could be forgiven for thinking China is leading the way, but in reality, it's its much smaller regional neighbor, Cambodia, that is pulled out in front of the 60-plus central banks that are working on CBDCs. For Cambodia, the incentive is there from more than just a technological standpoint. The country is determined to break the dollarization of its economy, which sees the US dollar circulate widely through the local economy as well as its own currency, the riel. So Cambodia is only the second country where the world to have launched a CBDC, with its Patron currency going live October 2020 and developed by the National Bank of Cambodia in partnership with Japanese blockchain company Soromitsu. The project was originally seen as a way of uniting the disjointed payment systems in the country. And if you think back to Augustin Carstens, when he was questioned about did he see, basically a future for CBDCs, and he said, yeah, they already have them in Cambodia. And to her surprise, she repeated Cambodia, and he was like, yes, basically they had been more successful than they had expected. And just to refresh memory, the Cambodia Soromitsu planning distributed ledger system, I mean, this article goes back to June 25th, 2017. So you can see they've basically been successful for over 4 years. Also, too, the majority of world's top banks are investing in crypto and blockchain companies. And the new report from blockchain research firm Block Data suggests that over half the world's biggest banks are getting exposure in crypto and blockchain companies. And the firm says that out of the 100 biggest banks by AUM, the asset under management, 55 of them have invested in crypto or blockchain related businesses, either directly or through their subsidiaries. And just to add fuel to that fire, crypto-friendly bank backed by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway plans a $2 billion USD IPO on NASDAQ. So Nubank, a Brazilian digital bank backed by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, is planning on an IPO on NASDAQ. So Nubank is crypto-friendly and offers investments in a Bitcoin-traded fund, the ETF, the exchange-traded fund. So the bank said the cryptocurrency ETF can be a way to further democratize access to the digital market. And also, too, what's pretty hot, even on a few senators across the USA, and with Judy Sheldon, is stablecoins rise as echoes of Bretton Woods. So this is becoming a little more frequent conversation, not just, again, from Judy Sheldon. And I believe somewhere in the future we might see a surprise and see her go where she was initially headed. Let's say it that way. And I think we might just see, I'm not sure how they're going to pull it out and connect it for the future, because there have been a lot of delays and a lot of changes. And that's something that just happens. You know, once there's a delay, then what was initially in order kind of makes a little turn and goes around a different curve, and you kind of have to see where it ends up at that point, because it's no longer the straight path that was intended. So 50 years ago, puzzled Richard Nixon dropped a financial bomb, and the dollar is no longer fixed to gold. The currency market was in turmoil as the mechanism behind the fixed exchange rate system was cut off overnight, and the Bretton Woods era was over, and a new financial order was then formed. However, the introduction of so-called global stablecoins by the private sector suggests that there's still interest in returning to the Bretton Woods style financial order. And one of my favorite things by Judy Sheldon, she says, basically we need another Bretton Woods moments, but in a cryptocurrency way. So that's very exciting to me. And again, from the history books, the rethinking of the international monetary system. Collapse of Bretton Woods prompted a fundamental rethink about what would give stability to the international monetary system. So again, the articles will always be included in the description below. Feel free to click the links if you want to read through the full articles. But just want to bring that up, because it's kind of a hot topic right now on Twitter, and the people that are discussing it do have impact on making this happen. So point out one more quick thing from this. The system incorporated elements from the previous gold standard system, but now instead of currencies being tied directly to gold, countries fix their exchange rates relative to the US dollar. And in turn, the US promised to provide gold on demand in exchange for dollars accruing in foreign central banks at the official price of 35 USD per ounce, and all currencies pegged to the dollar thereby had a fixed value in terms of gold. And we'll see what the future holds, but I do believe this will return, as I've mentioned, even back in 2019. I want to thank Dr. Bones at Dr. Bones 67 for tagging me in that article. I think it's very good because it's just a very hot topic right now, and there's a lot of excitement going on. I believe, through the rest of August, we'll continue to see a handful of global political unrest. And again, even though this is going to be very challenging and very difficult to all of the world, it will also be the stimulus that is going to get the digital assets momentum moving. So PhilPass, designated as systemically important payment system, and what that is the Philippine peso real-time gross settlement payment system. So it's been designated as a systemically important payment system, and its participants are expected to comply with the regulatory requirements set by the central bank and international standards. So the Banco Central ng Philippines, the BSP, or Filipinas, through memorandum, told registered non-bank operators of payment system with PhilPass Plus interface and PhilPass Direct members to comply with the requirements set by the Payment System Oversight Framework, the PSOF. So again, you can see all around the world, the countries are getting their digital financial systems in order. And I believe we're going to see, as they say, drip, drip, flood. We're going to see one at a time start going live. And then all of a sudden, everyone will go live. And that's where, as retail investors, the patience will become your reward. And guys, remember, this is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. But as always, before we go, I want to leave you with a final thought. Be remarkable. If you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. All right, guys, I want to say thanks to our VIP on Patreon, Surfmeister, and to each and every one of you. Much love, and we will catch you in the next one.